Hi guys, and welcome to Microbrand Monday. My name is Steve, and today we are reviewing the Retovivo RV02. So if you guys remember this brand, they're a microbrand out of Italy. I will leave a link to the RV01, which I reviewed about a year ago. It's about a field watch. That was pretty cool. Really nice price point on that one. This one kind of carries the same DNA and the same nice set of specifications for the price. So the Kickstarter price on this watch, when it gets released, I'll be leaving the link down in the video description for that. Sign up to get notified when that goes, because I don't have a date on that. Sometime in April, I'm assuming. But yeah, 200 euros, that's about 230 US dollars for this watch. You're getting a 316L stainless steel case, a sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating, screw-down crown, screw-down case back, 200 meters of claimed water resistance, super luminova on the dial and the hands, and the watch is powered by the Seiko VH31 quartz movement. So yeah, it's a really nice set of specifications. It comes in, I believe, 4 different colorways, I think here. I've got this kind of burnt orange one here for review today. This one was sent in for review by Retovivo. I don't get to keep this one, but they did promise me a full production model when it gets released. So yeah, this one is pretty much a full production version. There's just a couple little things that I will mention to you guys. The bracelet on this watch came kinked, and I can't unkink it. That is something that I will explain in the bracelet section. But yeah, don't worry about that. But other than that, it seems like a full production unit, and it's actually pretty darn nice. So I say we get into the full review, but before we do a quick wrist check, and again, being boring, wearing my Speedmaster Professional today. I do owe you guys a review for this one, which will come eventually, sometime, maybe. All right, let's get into the review of the Retovivo RV02. All right, let's first start with dimensions. We've got a bezel diameter of 38.9 millimeters, case thickness of 11.3 millimeters, and a standard 20 millimeter lug width, lug tip to lug tip of 45.3 millimeters, and on the bracelet with all links, it weighs 141 grams. So dimension-wise, I don't think there's anything to complain about. I do like the size of it. Pretty short lug to lug, decent thickness as well for a 200-meter diver, so really happy with that. Yeah, I mean, there's just not a whole lot to complain about. You can see here, nice turn down to the lugs there, so it does hug my wrist nicely, and it does wear pretty good on my larger than average wrist. So even people with smaller wrists are going to have no problems with this one, in my opinion. You can see it here. It's very comfortable. I think that the weight feels nice and solid, doesn't feel overly light. So yeah, there is some heft and some wrist presence to this watch, and I think because of the bigger dial, it wears maybe just a little bit bigger than a 38 millimeter, 39 millimeter diver, but not too bad. But yeah, I do like the way that it wears. I think it looks good on straps. There was a little bit of an issue with strap clearances, so just something to be aware of. If you have a nice leather strap that's on a little bit on the thicker side, you might want to avoid putting it on this because it might get chewed up. But other than that, I really didn't have any issues with the strap clearances. So yeah, just go in knowing that, and I think you'll be happy with it. All right, let's run over the case finishing. It's done very nicely. It's a mixture of brushing and polishing, as you can see here. We have a vertical brushing on the tops of the lugs, following the end link brushing very nicely, as you can see there. We got nice high polished chamfers separating the top and the sides of the case there. Really nice sharp transitions as well. I see no issues with that. There's no over brushing or anything. The brushing on the side of the case, horizontally brushed, looking very nice and tidy again. They got no real issues. The bottom of the lugs here, they got a little bit of a sharp edge there, but it's really not that bad. Not something I noticed on wrist at all, and it's really just something I noticed while it's in hand. We do have a signed screw down crown here, fully polished with the RV logo there. Decent little crown. I'm not a huge fan of the way they cut these crown guards. They kind of make just a straight cut through it instead of, kind of reaming a hole into it this way. I really don't mind this setup, but when you see a crown that's done kind of like this here, it just hides it, makes it look a little bit nicer. I'm talking about the hole for the crown guards there. So yeah, just something that maybe they could look into just a little bit. But besides that, I think the case finishing is actually done really nice on this watch. The case back here, it's a signed screw down case back, a mixture of brushing and polishing, and kind of a bead blasted with the Retovivo logo in there. A little bit of spec sheet around the outside. Everything down here is nice and soft. There's no harsh edges. So yeah, very happy with the case finishing on this. I think they did an excellent job with it. Now getting to the bezel on this watch, I was really curious since their first watch was a field watch without a rotating bezel. I was kind of worried that this might feel a little cheap, but it is not cheap feeling at all. It's a 120 click unidirectional bezel with a ceramic bezel insert. You have a loomed triangle there at 12 and then loomed minute markers at every 10 minutes. It is done very, very nice. You can see the bezel insert is nicely polished. I see no bleed over in the paint or anything like that. They did a really good job with that. The grip on the bezel is excellent. The resistance is pretty high, but because of the grip, you're able to easily turn it. And it is a very nice, kind of a slick feeling bezel. Really high quality feeling, and I am very happy with it. Yeah, I've got really no issues with it at all. Locks right into place, and the alignment is pretty much spot on this one. So yeah, overall, very satisfied with the bezel on this watch. And talking about the crystal here, we have a flat sapphire crystal. I did test that for sapphire and it was positive. So flat sapphire crystal with blue anti-reflective coating. Really high quality in my opinion. They did a good job on the previous one. This one is no different. So I do like the AR coating on this. I think it's done exceptionally well. Especially for the price point. So this is one of the better ones. I don't always say flat sapphires need AR coating. This one has plenty of it, so it's just kind of icing on the cake. It keeps the dial nice and clear. It's a nice high quality crystal in my opinion. Very happy with it. I see no issues with that at all. You can see here, it does sit ever so slightly above the bezel there. So, but there's really no interest to it. There's a little tiny chamfer around the outside, so you get a little bit of light play off of that. But other than that, it's pretty uninteresting and I think a really good crystal for this watch. All right, so getting real close and talking about the dial here, we have a very nice dial. You can see around the outside we have our, I guess it's going to be their signature thing where they got this tan and this blue. The blue is pretty subtle. It's not something I noticed right away, but something that just kind of catches the eye every once in a while. But very nicely done there. We have a white printed minute track there and then applied minute markings at all the hour markers. 3, 6, and 9 numerals as well are applied, and those are all filled with Super Luminova C3. We'll get to the Lume shot here in just a moment. The dials, they are kind of all this nice grainy texture. It's a pretty heavy texture. Definitely you can pick that up in person and on wrist. I think it looks fantastic. It's a matte dial, and then you have your Retovivo RV02 there printed on little raised sections of the dial, so the printing there is nice and crisp as you can see. The handset, really cool. You got brushing down the middle of it. You kind of have this little plunger tip to the minute and the hour hand there. I think they look really good. They're nice size. They reach right out to the minute track. Lollipop on the seconds hand there is loomed as well. You can see that reaching right out to the minute track too. A little bit of a counterbalance there on the seconds hand. Again, everything looks very nice and very proportional. This triangle here at the 12 o'clock, really a wide triangle. It's not something I'm used to seeing. I'm used to seeing kind of a narrow and tall triangle. So that was a little weird to see and to get used to, but I am used to it now. I think it looks pretty good. You can see all the hour indices. Those aren't just rectangular indexes. They are kind of tapered down towards the middle. So again, really nice attention to detail here. No date there. There's no date complication in the movement either. So very happy with that. The lume on the watch, it's okay. It's about what I expected. It is applied, so you get a little bit extra longevity, but yeah, it is that C3 old radium, so it's not as strong as normal C3, not as strong as BGW9, but a decent application in my opinion. All right, so powering the watch is the Seiko VH31. It is a 4 ticks per second quartz movement, so you do get a decent little sweep of that seconds hand. You can definitely see it ticking there, but it's much better, in my opinion, than the single ticks, and you don't have to worry about it not hitting each one of those second markings. So I am really happy with these movements. If you aren't aware of them, they are plus or minus 20 seconds per month as the stated accuracy, but they run a lot more accurate than that, and they have a 3-year battery life. They are a no-date movement as well, so we don't have a ghost date position, and they function just like you would kind of expect them to function. So decent little pop out from the crown there once it disengages from the threads. First position does nothing, and then the second position jumps right into time setting and does hack the movement there. So yeah, everything here functions exactly like you would expect it to. The crown has a nice solid feeling as well. It's not too wobbly or anything like that. You push the crown in, it starts up the movement every single time, and then the threads, they kind of pick up right away, so really no issues there, no worries about cross-threading in my opinion. So overall, when you're talking about the crown and the movement, there's really nothing to complain about. Really nicely done. All right, so when it comes to the bracelet, I do have a couple little qualms with this thing. It's it's interesting. Let me say that. So let's get these specifications out of the way of this. So it is solid links, solid end links, quick release spring bars, on the fly clasp, and screws for sizing. It is 20 millimeters at the lugs and it tapers down to 18 millimeters at the clasp. So my issues with this are the finishing and then the tolerances, I guess. So this watch is a pre-production one, so maybe this is something that they can tighten up before full production, but I did make them aware of this problem. They hadn't seen it happen before, but it's definitely a result of how this watch was shipped. It wasn't shipped in production packaging or anything like that. It was just kind of thrown in a box like this, and it arrived like this. So I have tried all I can to get this unstuck, and I cannot do it no matter how much I pull and try and bend, and it just won't release. So just something for you guys to be aware of. I don't suspect anyone else's will have this problem. I'm not even sure how it got to this problem, but yeah, maybe that's something that they can fix with the tolerances in the full production model. But again, I really wouldn't worry about it too much. The finishing on the outer links of the bracelet, they are brushed, but if you get up real close, you can kind of see here, they don't match too well with the end links. So the end links in the case, they match nicely. The outer links here, they're more of a satin finish, so they don't have much sheen to them, so the brushing feels a little different. It almost looks like a different metal. I'm sure it's not, but yeah, when you get it like that there, the outer links should look like the end link there. So again, just something for them to maybe concentrate on in the future. The middle links there, those are all individual little beads. They're nicely polished. Got no problems with those. Those look good. The bottom edge on this has been rounded off pretty nicely as well. Maybe just a little bit sharp, but not too bad. From what I was able to feel on wrist, it feels pretty comfortable. This one here has got nice fluidity. It wasn't pulling hairs or anything like that. So I do think the bracelet is actually pretty decent on this. The tolerances are okay as well as far as the side to side. And, it doesn't have too much rattle to the bracelet either. It feels nice and substantial. The clasp here, Retovivo branded, brushing on the top, brushing on the side, and a nice polished chamfer there. So it does visually match the case very nicely. I think it's not too overpowering on the watch. I think it kind of balances it all out. These tolerances in here are really nice and tight, so you get a nice satisfying click opening and closing this watch every single time. So no issues there. And like I said, it is an on-the-fly clasp, so a little bit different than the ones we're normally seeing here. But you can see here, you got to slide this little lever here, and then you can slide out the bracelet there. You get, I don't know, I would say about 6 or 7 millimeters of adjustability. You don't have to click that over to shorten it. So you put it on a little bit long and then shorten it on wrist until you're happy with it. And again, I've got no issues with the clasp. I think that's done nicely. You do get quick release spring bars as well. So really nice and easy to swap this bracelet out. My only concern is that right there. And I'm hoping that's something that they can really concentrate on and not have happen in the future. If it happened to this watch, it can probably happen to your watch as well. So maybe you just got to be a little bit careful about it. But this thing, I suspect, took a beating getting over here, and that's how that happened. And definitely the packaging played a big part in that. So, and then the brushing, they need to fix that brushing, in my opinion. Just spend a little bit extra money on that, and I think I'll be happy with the bracelet overall. So, yeah, I think the bracelet is okay. It has a few little issues that I think they can probably iron out before full productions. So there you go, guys. That is the Retovivo RV02. I think it's a really nice micro brand out of Italy. Pretty cool design, really nice case finishing. I've got really no major complaints with this watch. I think they did a very nice job with it. I like their RV01. I like this one just as much. So I think if you guys are interested in it, go for it. I've seen no reason not to. They've launched Kickstarters in the past and funded them and fulfilled them, so shouldn't be any issues with this one either. So I say go get it. Links will be down in the video description as always. I think that's it for me though. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you in the next one.